Yeah, it's crazy how, you know, in terms of the story, just of man, it could be crazy how you could just be doing one thing, like just as a, you know, just being you, man, just grinding, like just being you, grinding. And it's crazy how, like, you can just be you being a grinder, and then just the psychological or the effects that can come from you just grinding and just trying to be the toughest, whether it be a athlete, or whether it be you know um some other sort of aspect. It's like you just go, like you don't care, like nobody else can do it but you, so you just keep going, you just keep doing it, you just keep putting yourself through the extreme, doing the extreme in the extreme environments. And then because you boost you want to, it makes you feel some type of way that you can do it. And but the effects it has on you, the effects on your mental, on your body, on your brain, it's not worth the trade-off, in terms of, like, when you get in public places and public environments and your body isn't functioning the same way as everybody else's, and you feel isolated, you feel different, you feel like you're crazy, there's something wrong with you, you're some sort of animal, monster, or just freak. And it's like, you just feel unwanted, you feel alienated and isolated. Like, you just can't be around anybody. And it really just fucks with my self-esteem. It fucks with your self-esteem, man. Like, depending on who you are, I guess. I mean, unless it's just people trying to hide it. But, it just fucks with your self-esteem. It's like, you can't understand people, they can't understand you. But the truth is, like, you're the one putting in more work. But it's like, it's because of a collective conscious, or a collective narrative of, I guess, so many people just not doing it, not doing what you do. They can't relate to it. They can't even, resonate with it. And they can't even see the magnitude of it. And they can't put you in a proper perspective that you really are yourself. And it's like, so you lose self-esteem, or it's like you be properly calculated, or you get misproperly judged in a narrative that really is in a narrative that really is coming from a narrative of somebody, or just that really isn't yourself, who you really are and what you actually do or have accomplished. So, and I feel sad that this is what was a thing that people go through, or something that's a thing to go through, from just being so distant from everybody, from what you do. And the things that people only say they do, or only speak about doing but never do. It's the thing that people, things that people talk about doing but they never actually do or live. And it just goes unseen. And it's not worth it, almost. I almost want to say that, but I'll say this, And it's these things that people don't say or don't do that, that other people do themselves, and they see the end of it, and it's like it changes their perspective. There's not as much There's not as much boasting behind the person anymore. There's not much boast behind the person anymore because, they've actually experienced it and seen it. And it's like being around a society or environment of people who haven't seen it, they're so stuck up in their own ignorance and what they, and what they haven't experienced and what they haven't gone through. That they look at you, try to conceptualize them, just you, within their own perspective, which they can't do. And then they tear you down based on their own narrative, their own values, and their own perspective. So it's like, it's almost as if freedom is something that you can have. It's almost like joy and just joy and peace is almost something that you can never have. When you really strive to go after the things that other people only talk about doing, and you actually do things that other people only talk about doing because who actually ever sees them, you could be someone, especially unless you go to the NBA, like people who do great things are put on pedestals in terms of like the NBA and the NFL and some sort of pedestal, and it's just like these things, that people can't accomplish or do, they get recognition for. But what if everything that you do and, it's of such a magnitude, and nobody ever sees it? Nobody could ever even fathom it. Nobody could even really understand. You can't tell it to anybody. You can't tell anybody how much hard work you're putting in and the magnitude of what you're doing really is. It's only something within yourself. And eventually, in an environment of people who suppress those things, like it's almost as if it's not even real. It's almost as if you didn't even do it. And it's not even a real thing. It's what can that really do to a person's body? What can that really do to a person's mind and psychologically, to a point to where you do great things and then it's almost as if you never did them? What's that really doing to a person's body, and mind? It's almost like tampering with a person's body, or tampering with a person's mind and psychology and functioning. The person can't function right no more. The person can't function right no more because now things they know they did, they know they put in the work to do it. They went through the agony of doing it. The pain is still there. The agony is still there. But it's almost as if, you never did it. And it's almost as if it just never happened. So now you live life and go around with a psychology that has punched into you or brainwashed you that you never did anything, nothing ever happened, and there's nothing that you've ever actually accomplished. You've never done anything. You've just been sitting there doing nothing this whole time, just being lazy. But the truth of the matter is, like me, you've been just being lazy like me. But the truth of the matter is, you've been doing so much. You've been doing a lot, and you've been through the agony, and your body screams the agony that you actually accomplished and the things that you actually done. And your body continues to shout and continues to express the cries of the pain and the adrenaline that it actually took for you to get there and actually do the things that you've done. But now, on the other end, it's almost as if your body's just lying to you, and it takes on a whole nother meaning. But the proof was right there in the pudding. The proof was right there in the pudding. And it's these cries that, battle against what it is that what people think. And it's just a matter of the suppression and the brainwashing that has infiltrated what people do versus what people think, and what people in the status quo of what people are accustomed to, in the status quo of stereotypical thoughts. And it's like when this reaches and when this meets, the agony and the pain and the growth of a person, and the separation from a person from the status quo and from these stereotypical patterns, how can the person really separate themselves? How can a person really be different? Can a person really change? That's all I gotta say. And this is the question I ask. Can a person really change? The answer is, can they really separate so much of status quo and stereotypical patterns and distinguish themselves from the collective conscious or mind frame of their environment, or the people around, or of their peers? Can they separate themselves from the collective conscious mind to really be able to distance themselves and exhibit something different, exercise something different? That's my question. How can you extend yourself to a different pathway? And remember it, you can't. Because as soon as you finish the agony and the pain of extending yourself out, go through another pathway, you go right back to the status quo, to the collective conscience, to the stereotypical mind frame. And it's almost as if you can't escape the thoughts, the collective thoughts and mind frame. Only for a short period. Only for a short period. But then you go right back to rest. Resting in this same continuous collective conscious stereotypical pathway that you can't escape. I say, how do you escape from this darkness? from this collective mind frame, from the stereotypical thoughts, from these stereotypical patterns of thinking. How do you escape? With my ground roots have been influenced and have been tampered with by the false realities and conceptions and values of society. How can I escape? My collective mind frame, in order to separate myself to the values that I create and the values that I believe in myself or have esteem for in myself. Those values. How do I escape? How do I create my own values? How can I rest in my own values? How can I live in my own stereotypical habitat? My own stereotypical space? How can I? How do I create my own space where I can just be with the things that I value, the lovely things that I value? How can I just be in my own space where I can be myself, where I can remember the past, where I can be with my art, where I can remember my friends, and how can I just be myself in the spaces that I loved, in the spaces that I remember, and in the spaces where I was most connected. How can I? I just want to be me. I just want to be me. I want to chase who I aspire to be. And I just want to be filled with the things and the people that I aspire to be. I want their energy to be around them. I don't want this collective mind frame, this collective conscious. I just want to be me.